It's your weekly breakaway for fun conversations on pro cycling. Come join us for another ride beyond the slipstream. I'm Matt Harper, and together with my brother Justin, we'll do deep-ish dives on professional bike races, teams, riders, and all sorts of cycling-related stories. So jump in the saddle and tighten up those shoes. The road awaits. Allez!
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Slipstream. I'm Matt and this is my brother Justin, and today on the show it's goodbye cobbles and hello hills as the Spring Classic season has pivoted from Belgium to the Netherlands. The kickoff event, the Amstel Gold race, took place over the weekend with a fantastic race on the women's side and not so much on the men's. The women's race gave us a young rider getting easily the biggest win in her career, while a giant of the men's peloton notched his first win in this very prestigious race and afterwards accounted it as one of the top 8 wins of his career. Clearly, he's thought about that already. Elsewhere, the O Gran Camino stage race in the Celtic region of Spain, who knew, gave the stage racing monster juggernaut squad of the men's pro peloton yet another almost a foregone conclusion win, plus 2 stages, just for good measure. We'll chop up all that and more on the show today, and as always, we'll finish out with a lovely ride past the windmills of the Netherlands in the Broom Wagon. Allez. All right, welcome to the show today. I'm Matt, I'm here with Justin, and we are going to jump into the big race from over the weekend, Amstel Gold, won by Remco Evenopoel, his first win at Amstel Gold. What'd you think of the race? What'd you think of the win? What do you think of Remco at this moment in time?
So Remco and I have a on again, off again relationship where like I decide to shit all over him and then for some reason I come back around from it and then I go right back to I'm going to shit all over him. So we're in a I'm going to shit all over him stage, which is I don't think this win is that impressive, to be completely honest with you. I think that he beat lesser opponents. And it just like, I think somebody of Remco's caliber should have dominated that race entirely, and it shouldn't even have come down to a sprint. Okay, if he's as good as billed or as everybody expects him to be, then there's against those competitors, he should win every single time. All right, I think he did a wonderful job cat and mousing Skelly at the end, but I really do think that Skelmos's win last year against Pog, Remco, and Wout was way more impressive than Remco's win over Skelly, Cossenfroy, and Roman Gregoire. So I don't know how you feel about it, but color me not that impressed. It's a huge race. Like, don't get me wrong. It's great for his Palmares, but there wasn't anybody there that really was challenging him all day.
He has beaten those guys in the past. He has beaten them at Liège-Bastogne-Liège. He has beaten them in the Olympics road race. So I do believe he is capable of winning against Tadej Pogačar and or Mathieu van der Poel. At this moment in time, maybe not. His form certainly has not indicated that. I mean, he wasn't supposed to race, or he put the Ronde van Vlaanderen on his calendar very late. They made the late announcement. I would think that he was planning to race it a long time out. Nonetheless, it was his first appearance at that race, and he came third behind those two guys. So I can cut him a little slack at that being his first time there, and those guys being absolute assassins of that race. I mean, between the two of them, they've won it every time for like the past six or something.
But I didn't expect him to win that race. I
Right.
expect him to win this race.
Well, yeah. I mean, those guys weren't there. Like there wasn't any competition there. So what choice did he have? Of course, he won it. And not only that, but Matthias Skelmos sure did make it easy for him to win as well. Like, why in the name of God Skelmos was taking turns is beyond me.
At least where he him coming back around, he was sitting right coming into the last little part of the race, and he could have just sat on his wheel. He's Remco Evenopoel. Nobody would have given him anything for it. Why he came through and let Remco get behind him, I have no idea. Like,
It's absurd.
Didn't make any sense to me at all.
You weren't really watching cycling during the Sagan days, but like it just used to be a thing. When Peter Sagan was out in front with other riders, nobody ever pulled. Ever. Like Sagan was always like so frustrated. You know, like Pogacar, his big like mystery to unlock is like, how do I win Milan San Remo? How do I win Paris-Roubaix? Peter Sagan's big thing was, how do I win from small groups when no one pulls? And he managed to do it a lot just because he was that strong. But like nobody was coming through and pulling with that guy ever. And it just seems like in today's peloton, in the past year, 2, 3, you just see guys pulling with other riders who are clearly stronger than them. And it's just like, what are you doing? I mean, it provides lots of content for Chris Horner, knuckleheadism abounds, in the peloton these days. But it's just like, yeah, I mean, Skelmos, if you're going to give Remco turns, I mean, Lantern Rouge made a great point about it too. It's like, if you're with Remco, if you're in front with Remco and you're taking turns with that guy, well, then it's not like if you're taking 50-50 turns with Remco Evenepoel in terms of time, right? It's not a 50-50 split because that guy is tiny. That man is arrow when he is in front, and you are not getting the draft off of him that he is getting off of you.
Yes.
It's absurd. So, I mean, Remco has looked good this season, and Remco has looked not so good this season, right? I mean, he started off the season there at the Mallorca Challenges and was just like cleaning up down there, if memory serves, right?
Correct.
Didn't he
Yeah,
win?
yeah.
He won like three of them or something like
He
that.
won like 3 times in a week.
Yeah, he won those 3, and then he took 2 stages plus the GC at Valenciana. So like his season was off to a ripping good start, but to your point, wasn't racing anybody in those races. Gets to UAE Tour, he's going up against Jonas Vingegaard. He gets 10th in GC, and on the only stage he wins is the ITT.
Yeah.
So
Smoked.
suddenly
Fast forward to what was the stage race they were just in a couple weeks
Catalunya,
ago?
Catalunya.
Smoked.
Yeah, doesn't win a stage there at all, and of course there's no TT in Catalunya. And then oddly takes 5th in all 3 jerseys. I just noticed that on his PCS. He had 5th in the mountains, 5th in the points, and 5th in GC. An interesting symmetry there. But yeah, so disappointing. And then he seems to be coming back onto the upswing now. He gets 3rd on debut at the one of the biggest races of the entire year, and then he wins another one of the biggest races of the entire year. I put Amstel Gold kind of right in there with Strade. It's kind of like a sixth monument status,
Yeah, I mean it's a big race. There's no doubt. It has given us amazing moments in the past. I'm going to talk about some in the Broom Wagon later, but when it comes to the conversation of Remco Evenepoel, all right, I keep arguing myself out of the position of saying he's a rider that's on the same level as a Skelmos or maybe he's one level up as Skelmos. He's in the
hard
Ayuso.
disagree.
He's in the Ayuso Almeida category, like that's where he's at. Like
If anything, he's a level above them and a level below Pogačar, Vingegaard, and Van der Poel. He's at least like Wout Van Aert level. Like, I mean, he's better than those guys. Like, because he can go out. I mean, he's won a stage race. He's won a stage race this year, and he can also go out and win huge one-day races. And nobody's better than him at time trialing. I mean,
right,
for those three reasons alone,
he is the best time trialist.
Okay.
Period. Full stop. I agree with you. 100%.
So that's part of it.
100%. But I think
when you take those three things, ability to win big one-day races, ability to win stage races, and ability and being the best TT specialist in the pro peloton, he's a level above Juan Ayuso, for God's sakes. He's a level above Del Toro, and
But just like those guys, when he's faced with and again, outside, you got to take Flanders out of it. All right, that was a remarkable ride, and third place, first time you've ever run the race. Chapeau. But when it comes to stage racing, all these other things, he might as well be like those guys, because those guys will blind squirrel, find a nut, and win a stage race here or there. Okay, when there's not a lot of competition, and but when the big riders come, just like Remco, they kind of wilt in the sunlight. All right, they die on the vine when there's real competition facing them, and that's been the case with all of these guys of late. Is that it's either injury or they just completely fall apart under the bright shining light of Pogačar or Vingegaard or Van der Poel.
I just disagree, man. Like I mean, number one, I don't understand why we have to take the Ronde van Vlaanderen out. Like, he got a very
credit for Ronde van Vlaanderen.
No, you just said take out the Ronde van Vlaanderen or forget about the
blind squirrels and nuts.
This conversation will be a lot easier to have next week after LBL. I want to see what happens at LBL. Then we can make a harder decision on it. But I mean, a very impressive third on debut at the RVV. That's not a squirrel finding a nut. Like, that's debut at like one of the hardest races of the year. The thing is like 250 kilometers long or something like that. I mean, like, you didn't see Ayuso or any, like, they weren't even coming close in that race. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really strongly have to disagree that he is on the same level as Del Toro, Ayuso, Almeida, who else? I mean, he's just better than those guys. He's more exciting. He animates races. Well, I don't know. Those guys are animators as well. Those three, at least the UAE three. No, well, I guess Ayuso is not UAE anymore. But I don't know. Let's make sure we revisit this topic when at this time next week after LBL.
We can revisit it then, or we can revisit it after the tour. All right.
Well,
we can revisit it however we want. But at this point, like, I feel like I keep coming back to these situations where I'm like, oh, well, maybe he really is better than what I think he is, and then he continues to be the guy that I think that he is. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I really do think that Skelmos' win against those other guys last year is more impressive than his win this year. I think,
of course. Skelmos beating Pogačar, outsprinting Pogačar and Evenopoel. Of course, that's like not.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, nobody would disagree with that. But I'm not trying to make that case. I'm trying to make a case that Remco is a level above Matthias Skelmos, for God's sake.
Now he also doesn't drink the beer on the podium. That also gets under my skin. I don't know if that is a personal choice. Maybe he doesn't drink alcohol. I don't know. But the fact that, 2 years in a row, the women have showed up the men on the podium when it comes to drinking the beers in the Amstel Gold race, by the way, sponsored by a beer company. Like, just drink the beer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's angry Justin today. I don't know.
I did not watch the podium ceremony, so I can't say. I will say this: looking at Remco's PCS, he has got Quebec, Montreal, and the World Championships on his race program already. Will we see Remco at the Maryland Cycling Classic the week before?
I mean, if he really wants to, ride the North American route, like he's got to, right?
Oh my God, that would be amazing if he just like goes there like for a warm up or whatever. Oh my God, that would be incredible.
I mean, it would be
very
incredible
interesting.
for the race. There'd be, you would actually draw way more people having somebody of that caliber in, the Maryland Cycling Classic. I mean, and if he's in the same field as there was last year, he's going to win like hands down. Come on,
You think
dude.
he'll beat? You
Easy
think he'll
win.
beat Sandy? He'll beat Sandy Dujardin.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, they saw Remco run around Dundalk.
Absolutely. What I want to talk about, speaking of Remco, is the very curious ranking of Amstel in his personal top 8. So what? Let's run through it.
Okay.
What would Remco's top 7 be that where Amstel slots in at 8?
Well, to win has to be above it. So
All right, that's 1.
LBL's got to be above it.
2, Olympics road race, Olympics TT. That's 3
World
and 4.
Championship has to
Road
be
race
above it.
and TT. That's 6.
All right. So what's the 7th one that's bigger than that?
Tour de France stage win.
Okay, we'll give you a Tour de France stage win there. And then Amstel Gold. He doesn't have another race on his palmarès that's bigger than that.
Oh no.
There's got to be something. There has to be something that we're forgetting.
I just loved how specific that was when he said that.
8.
Oh, I know what it is. It's the Donastia San Sebastian Classicoa.
Of course.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
He won that 3 times. I think it's his 3 GC wins at the Volta ao Algarve and Bicicleta. No. It's got to be the Tour of Poland stage win. That's what it is. All right. I don't know that. I think we have it. Quite curious.
It's got to be those, right? What else is there?
Quite curious. Yeah. How many Tour de France stage wins does he have? 2. 1 in 24 and 1 in 25. You know what? He's always interesting to talk about. He is an exciting rider.
And look, do I think that Remco Evenopoel is good for cycling? Absolutely. He gives us stuff to talk about. He's got great interviews. He doesn't really pull punches when it comes to speaking his mind. All things that I absolutely love. I'm wholly unconvinced by his status in cycling as, somebody that's on the level with the best. I think he's very good. Don't get me wrong. I don't want this to come off as I don't think that he's very good. I do think that he's very good. I just don't think that he's on that level. And most of those other riders, the Ayusos, the Almeidas, the Del Toros, I put on that next level below. You know what I mean? Yes, I think that in any other given age, Jonas Vingegaard is the greatest cyclist of a generation. He wins everything that he touches. But he happens to be in the same era as Pogačar, and Pogačar just is, going to be the greatest cyclist that there ever was. You know what I mean? Barring some sort of injury or, he decides to exit cycling altogether. I mean, if the guy continues on his current trajectory, he will end up being the greatest cyclist to ever, ride, especially given the era and the scrutiny of the anti-doping stuff and, all of it. You know what I mean? He is racing in a harder time because the competition level is way different, and these races are way faster than they ever were, 30, 40 years ago. Like we can all say whatever we want and make the arguments that that Merckx was the best, but if it's transposed and you give Merckx all of the same upgrades and quality of life things and nutrition, I don't know that he's necessarily better than Pogačar if you put them head to head. I like it's impossible to say.
Yes, it's ridiculous to consider.
But Pogačar right now has his card out and he's just punching holes in it. He's going, I want this one, click. I want that one, click. And it's very, very few races that he targets and misses. Right?
With every big win that he targets and gets, he I think just increases the ability to argue that he's the greatest ever and decreases the ability to argue that Merckx is. But the fact remains, Merckx still has some big things that Pog doesn't have. Merckx won all 5 monuments. Pog hasn't. Merckx won 19 monuments. Pog's won 11. Merckx won all 3 Grand Tours. Pog has not. So you know what I'm saying? Like it's very easily, if you are in the camp of Eddie Merckx is the greatest rider of all time. Not Merckx and Eddie Merckx also had like 200 and something odd wins, and Pogačar's got like in the low hundreds. So I mean, it's easy to make that argument now. But as I say, as his career progresses and all of those numbers get closer together or are neutralized by Pogačar, Merckx also has more Tour de France stage wins, which we obviously all agree is a very big marker of career success. So he's still got a lot of stuff to do before you can, I think, make a definitive claim, because there's still plenty of room to argue on the other side.
Did Merckx have a competitor that was on his level the way that Vingegaard is on Pogačar's level?
I think for Grand Tours, I mean, I think there were a few guys out there. I mean, I think De Vlaeminck was like one of his big rivals, but that may have been more on the one-day classics side. And as for his competition in the Grand Tours, I'd have to take a look. So I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. But I reckon there was probably some. I mean, it's not like he just won every single Grand Tour that he raced in, for his entire career. So, but back on the subject of Remco, I did want to, you mentioned that he gives a good interview. He is so good on camera. It's ridiculous. Like his English is really, really good. Like you can tell that dude has like had some coaching or has just been so deeply sort of steeped in the like English speaking world of sports and stuff. Like he just cracks off in an interview like it's just nothing. You know what I mean? Like that dude would have no problem as like a commentator slotting in on GCN. You know what I mean? He's probably too big of a superstar to ever consider a career move like that. Until he's Sean Kelly's age. But I don't know. Maybe Sean Kelly's been commentating all along. But it would be cool, and he is willing to speak his mind. However, sometimes I feel like his interviews come across as just like so polished. He's just like so polished. It's like he's already thought about what he's going to say. I feel like, and I don't know. I want more out of him in his interviews.
And personally, I do give him a ton of credit. He goes on podcasts. He's been on with Geraint Thomas. He's been on. He did one of Ordinary Rob's videos. Like he's willing to put himself out there. Like, and I do give him all the credit in the world. And he is, I mean, look, he is a superstar. He's given us great moments. All right. Him hanging up the phone. It'll be hard for me to ever forget him hanging up the phone under the Eiffel Tower at the Olympics in 24.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is,
incredible.
Look, like I said, I just don't know if he belongs in that same conversation with those top guys, and he's
Well,
always in the conversation with those top guys.
we shall be. I reckon he will remain in the conversation. We'll definitely talk about it this time next week,
Okay.
and we'll certainly be discussing it after the Tour de France this year. It'll remain a topic. But I, for one, am glad that he is on my team this year, and I'm
Maybe
glad
that's
that
why I'm salty.
I'm glad that he's racing bikes and not playing soccer as he could have based on the earlier part of his career. We will leave it there, take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to be discussing some young riders that are on the come up. So stay with us.
Please check out our other show, Inglorious Brothers, a pop culture show with cult classic swagger. Search and subscribe in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, or click the link in the show notes.
All right, we are back, and now we are going to pivot to some conversation about some young riders on the come up. We saw some big wins from some big wins, some first time wins, and just a lot of action happening with some names that are not often in our mouths. The biggest, of course, has to be Paula Blasi's huge win at the women's Amstel Gold race. Blasi, the teammate of was it last year's winner ELB, or am I thinking of Brabantse Pale? Nonetheless,
year, Amstel Gold was Misha Bredebold.
Oh, that's right. Nonetheless, teammate of Liza Longer Borghini on UAE, one of the, I would say, top 2 or 3 teams in the women's peloton this year for sure. And she basically got off the front with Ninka Vinka and got the lead up, and they were not seen again. Blasi got away from Vinka on the Cowberg with like 20 something kilometers to go. Got a lead on the main group. Ninka Vinka couldn't catch, and Blasi held it.
She got it in a rhythm, all right. And once she got into that rhythm and she was moving, it didn't seem like there was any answer from the group behind being able to pull her back, because it just seemed like that lead just stretched a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and it wasn't ever really coming back. Like, if you look at how things were last week, you know what I mean, things were on a yo-yo. They were pulling those groups back, within 10, 20 seconds, and they're just, it didn't seem that way. It seemed like her advantage just kept going. And, she just looked so stoic. All right. She was out there. She was just doing her thing. She was in time trial mode. And they just waited too long in the rear. I mean, they should have pushed way harder, way sooner to try to pull her back, because by the time they really started to make an effort, the only 2 people that had it in the legs were Demi and Cassie and the Uedoma. And even they, as strong a riders as they were not making a dent in pulling Paula Blasi back. It just wasn't.
Well, and it's interesting that that Demi, especially, that like her team is without question the strongest of the peloton this year, FDJ United, and they should have been all over that. I mean, she had Elise Chabet with her. Why that move was not pulled back, and Franzi Koch last week's Paris-Roubaix winner, like why that move was not pulled back.
It didn't make sense.
That's not acceptable. Paula Blasi has not raced a ton this season, but when she has been crushing it. She's just got a whole string of top 10s. I mean, she won the mountains classification at the Santos Tour Down Under, 3rd on GC, and I recall her animating the heck out of that race. She got a 3rd and a 4th on stages 2 and 3, and then eighth in the Santos one-day race, 5th in Classica Almeria, 9th in Trofeo Oro, 9th in Brabantse Pale. earlier this week, and then bam, she comes up with the huge win at Amstel Gold. She's 23 years old, and the future looks bright.
Yeah, she's in the mix all the time. She is a solid workhorse for that team, and given opportunities, she capitalizes. And look, hats off to her. All right, she'd be two of the biggest riders on the planet.
Yeah.
All right, and handily, like they were, they weren't anywhere near. She had time to sit up, zip up the jersey, all right, get comfortable, look back, make sure she was good, and come across the line with her arms spread. Like, she won that race handily, and she deserved it. She deserved every bit of, the accolades that she'll receive this week because she works really, really hard. She's, like I said, she's always in the mix, and she deserves it. I love seeing the workhorse riders on big teams win races, because what a reward it is for her and all the hard work that she does for other people to be able to pull out a monster win. And again, it's not a monument, but look, it is a very well respected race, man, and a race that absolutely, is in the conversation for some of the best races of the year every year.
Yeah, well, she does not have anything on her race calendar for this year on PCS, but she is part of this just like stellar UAE team that I really think the sky is the limit for this team, especially going into stage racing season. Of course, Eliza Longo Borghini is like their big GC rider, but they have just got such a stacked team. They got Vladicek, they've got Caroline Swinkles, they've got Sylvia Persico, and Eleonora Gasparini. Like, all of these women are hitters and have been animating races all year long. So looking forward to what she can come up with. Now let's talk about some of the other big young riders. Staying on the women's side, earlier in the week at the Brabantse Pijl, we got a huge win by a teammate of Demi Vollering on FDJ United Suez, Celia Giry. And that was, I believe, that was her first win. And then I don't know if you noticed, but she went out and followed that win up 2 days later at the Grand Prix Féminin de Chambéry. So pretty sick. Like, boom, gets her first career win ever at the age of 20, and 2 days later wins again.
That's how it goes sometimes, man.
She's already
winning breeds winning.
Yeah, she's already, and she was ninth in Alfredo Binda. She's already contributed 715 UCI points to that team. So, also very impressive. Do you how did you watch that race? How did it finish?
I did watch it, and hold on, let me see what. Roubaix took it out of me this week, man.
I know at one point she was ahead with Van der Breggen and Lois Adehist, I think. I can't remember.
Bredebol came in second and Persico came in third. That was the only notes that I really had.
Oh, well. An impressive win. All right, let's talk about the men. And this will get us into our conversation about Gran Camino. I mentioned in the intro that the juggernaut stage racing team got another one. That would be UAE Team Emirates. I mean, this team just wins just about every single stage race they enter, it seems like. I mean, last year they won all but like 2 stage races the entire year, something ridiculous. Now, my boy Paul Seychas did pick their pocket a couple weeks ago in Basque Country, but Adam Yates was kind of a foregone conclusion. I mean, when you looked at who he had as competition in this race, there just wasn't anybody there that was anywhere close to an Adam Yates type level for a week long stage race, or even a five day stage race.
I thought the exact same thing. Like this race had next to nobody, big in it, and when you look at it and you look at a rider of Adam Yates' caliber, and he's leading that team, which had some hitters on it, and like I feel like the same way that it's a foregone conclusion that if he's in the mix, he's winning this race. And stage 4, I think. Yeah, stage 4. That final climb was one of the most brutal things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And when he launched, they had this great overhead shot, and it literally looked like the 4 riders behind him were just, about to fall off their bikes. It was so hard. Like they were just left, right. They weren't, nobody was pointed straight. Like
right.
They're all struggling. And he was not like, it wasn't like a Pogacar ride where you see them just, boom, boom with the straight, hard cadence up the hill. He was struggling a bit too. But I mean, oh my God, it was like someone dropped a bomb on the front of that race because dudes were everywhere. I mean, it was just like the whole thing split apart. So, really
and those Yates brothers are just such assassins when it comes to those kind of things, where it's like they just ride away. They're just so stone faced. They never put on a grimace or anything, and it's just like the tempo just ticks up and ticks up and ticks up. He was doing it again on stage 5. He didn't end up winning. I thought he was going to. Again, it was looking like it was going to happen just that way. Again, it's just like it just makes it a little harder.
Right. It was very similar to that win that his brother had last year in the Giro, where he just all of a sudden out of nowhere was just gone.
Yep.
Very like this is and I really, one of the things I want to say about this race in particular, and I want to get to the guys that won, but for a smaller race, it seems extremely well organized, and some I want to get to it. We'll get to it in a bit. I want to talk about the camera work, but I think it's funny how we can see a giant race that is just a mess, and we could see a small race that's a mess. But when you see, a smaller, week-long stage race like this, and it's so well organized, I start to scratch my head. I'm like, why is every race not like this? You know what I mean? Why is every, there you didn't see any, any riders off course. There's plenty of, people all over the place, directing traffic, good climbs, great camera work. There's just so much going on. And the televised coverage was really good too. So I don't know. I mean, you had Adam Blythe and
Rob Hatch
all week.
Yeah.
Like on this race. What? Like that blew my mind. And it's not even a world tour level race.
Yep. So let's get into some of these young up and comers who got wins at this race. So up first on stage 1 of O Gran Camino, Julius Johannesson of Team UAE Emirates, who else, takes the big ITT stage win. First of all, I love this guy's look.
Thank you. Coolest looking dude in the whole race, right?
He's like him and Quinn Simmons need to go camping together.
I'm sorry, dude. Where Quinn Simmons has that, like, I'm America, got my this dude. That dude is like, I bet when Julius Johannesson gets dressed up to go out, he is stunning.
I just clocked him as like what is he, a Norwegian or something? The Norwegian, no, he's a Dane version of Quinn Simmons. He's got that long hair. He looks like he looks like a Viking. I mean, he's a Viking.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gets the ITT stage win on stage 1 of O Gran Camino, and I believe that was his first win ever. Yeah.
Yes, first pro win.
Next up, the very next stage, Carlos Canal of Movistar gets a win in a bunch sprint from a sick lead out from his teammate Ivan Romeo, and Rob Hatch called it out. I had to go back and look. Did you catch him like on the radio immediately after he gave him the lead out?
I guess I
So
didn't.
great. So Romeo, of course, is the Spanish champion. So he's got that cool jersey on, that
Yes,
really cool
the
like
dark blue.
dark
Yeah.
blue flame jersey. Like love that jersey. And he leads out Canal and he's on the left hand side. It's kind of a tight chute that they're sprinting down. It's
Mhm.
only like maybe like five riders wide or something like that.
I was obsessed with the drone photography, so I'm sure I missed whatever you're about to say.
Well, actually, there was a great drone shot leading into the shot that I'm talking about. There was a drone shot, like the drone was following the front, like 12 riders, kind of
Oh,
from the
it's
behind on
amazing.
the right hand side. But then when it and that's when he sort of finishes his lead out is while the drone shot is going on. But then they switched the shot to the head on shot from a fixed camera, and as you see them coming through right at you, you can see Romeo like getting on his radio and he's literally like yelling into Canal's ear, go, go, go. Like, I just love it that like these dudes are going, 45 miles an hour in a sprint at the end of a race, and he can still just smoothly like hop on his radio and be like, all right, my man, get the job done. Close the deal, buddy. You got this. I absolutely loved it. And Rob Hatch's call, the Galician doing it in Galicia.
Yeah. Can't
Hatch
go
is all
wrong. Can't go wrong with a Rob Hatch call, man. The guy just
well
makes the.
in a Spanish race too, like in all the Spanish races, because he's like such a Spain guy. I'm pretty sure he lives down there. No, he lives on Mallorca,
He
right?
lives in Mallorca, yes.
Yeah, and so his Spanish is just like next level, and all of his pronunciations for the Spanish stuff, and I was loving. I mentioned in the intro about like the whole like Celtic thing that he kept mentioning with that. Like I did not realize that there was like a Celtic region in the north of Spain, but I looked at it on the map, and of course it's like the closest spot to like the British Isles, and so it makes sense that Celtic nomads would have you know
Ended up on the coast of Spain, yes.
on the northern tip of Spain, and that's wild. So they have all this like cultural crossover, and the music there kind of sounds like Irish music. It's wild.
Speaking of like cultural crossover, the things that I find like really interesting. So, you know, I, John pointed something out to me the other day about we were talking about Scotland, and he was like we both must have heard or seen the same thing this in the last couple of weeks, that the Appalachian Mountains and the mountains in Scotland are literally the same mountains. They were separated by millions of years of tectonic separation, but like where our people left and where they settled are like the exact same rocks, which is pretty crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't that
Yeah, that's
crazy?
wild. I wonder if like they like if they're the sort of same geological age and therefore are like the same amount of like worn
They are.
down.
I mean, they are the same. They are literally the same mountains.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild. There was a great shot on stage five. They had the finishing climb, and right as they went past the Flamme Rouge, there was just this wild cultural site called Castro de Santa Trega, and it was like what looked to be, if not dozens, I mean, if not hundreds, at least dozens of like circular stone somethings like just all over the place. Like it looked absolutely wild. I was just loving that. And of course, that was leading on to the phenomenal like finishing climb with cobbles. Wasn't that crazy? And when they showed the wide shot of it, they're coming up the road. The road kept going around so you could drive up to where they were going, but they had to hook a hard right and go straight up the old like cobblestone path up to the top of this thing. Awesome.
So, and this. So this you might as well get. We might as well get into it now. So this is what I was talking about earlier with this race being so seemingly well organized and so well done. You know, great use of drone photography. All right, efficiency with like the podiums and like all of the stuff at the end. No, big crazy, things, crazy, people going off road, none of that stuff. All very uneventful in that sense, which is great, which is exactly what you want, uneventful, so that the race is uninterrupted. But on stage 5, all right, those from like it really, I think in my notes I put like 19 or something like that, but it's really from like 21 or 22 kilometers down to about 14 there on this descent.
You said stage 4.
Did I? It's
Like
stage 5.
You texted me,
And I said stage 4. It's stage 5. I'm an
no, you did say stage 5.
Yeah.
Somehow I had stage 4 in my head, and I watched 19 to 15 kilometers on
And you
stage
were
4,
like,
and I was like,
this
what in the
doesn't make
world
any
is he
sense.
talking
Yeah.
about?
But it was one of the most beautiful descents that I've ever seen, between the camera work, between the bikes and the helicopter. It was absolutely amazing. It was like one of those really long, strung out descents where you have, probably 30 riders in the front group, and they're, they are literally a quarter mile long. And they're all just kind of like hitting these great hairpin curves and through little towns, and like it was
Hmm.
just the most beautiful descent that I've watched, maybe ever, but like definitely this year. I mean, it was, but all that is to say, like, even a small race can get this right. Like, we talked about it earlier, in the beginning of the year, where the Santos Tour Down Under stuff, so well done. All right, such great coverage. Really, really, well organized race. Rider safety at the forefront. There was a ton of different little things that happened during that race where you're like, wow. But the coverage was excellent, and the coverage for this race was excellent. And how we have bigger races that aren't as good as this, like, just boggles my friggin' mind. Like, take some notes, folks. Like, you can make a great race out of not a lot.
Yeah, I feel like these companies over in Europe, especially, Flanders Classics, and you can sort of tell from the iconography of some of these races, like the logos and stuff, that they're part of like a family of races. So you've got these like smaller race organizing companies, and they've been doing it so long, and because they're smaller, like it's not so sprawling. It's easier to manage, I feel like, so the combination of just like the experience of having done it for so long, and it's self-contained. They know exactly what their parameters are, and I feel like it's a little easier to control for variables. The people in the area are used to those same races year in and year out, and yeah, they put out these good products. You know what? It was stage 5 that I watched. I thought it was 4 that you had said, but I don't know where I'm getting 4 from. Nonetheless, I did watch it. I wanted to comment on it, actually, because at first I was just kind of like, what is he talking about? This is just like bouncing back and forth between helicopter shots and camera bike shots. Like, this doesn't seem like anything. But I will say, I don't know if you caught it, but on multiple occasions you could see the helicopter in the camera bike shot, and it was this badass orange and black helicopter, and
Yes, I'm
it did
telling
not
you.
it did not look like the usual helicopters that you see in those shots. It looked like a little bit smaller and more maneuverable, and I was it was it was really like cool when I saw it for the first time, because like, so you had texted me, hey, you gotta watch the camera work from 19 to 15 kilometers on stage 5. So I made sure that I went and checked it out. And when I start watching, I'm, like I said, I'm just seeing this helicopter shot. Or is it? Because like suddenly it's getting like real close in, and I'm like, wait, is this a drone shot? Are they like, and for a while I was thinking to
Telling you,
myself,
dude.
okay, wow, they've now, because I think things are sort of headed this way. I think we're going to start seeing, you know, slightly larger, more sort of durable drones that can hang in the in the higher altitudes, you know, a little bit better, so that we can get like really wide from above shots that zoom all the way down, and then it's right next to the rider all in one shot. You know what I mean? Like it's like it goes from like a quarter of a mile away to like 3 feet away. I think we're gonna get that. And for a while, I was like, oh wow, they're now taking the drones a little bit higher. And then I realized, no, wait a second, this is not a drone shot.
No, it's a helicopter
And I,
shot.
and yeah, and the confirmation was when they went to like a behind the peloton shot as they were rounding a bend, a
To the
left hand
left, and you
bend.
could see the helicopter like
Yeah, and the
roll
helicopter's
right
out there.
across the thing.
And what I realized,
And then they switched right to that same helicopter's shot, and that's what I mean. It wasn't that it was like anything special in and of itself. It was the choreography of it, the way that it switched back and forth. Like, and again, that's probably has a lot to do with the people in the control room as well. Like going, damn, like let's this camera, not this camera, this camera,
right?
not that. And I'm sure that has a big part to play in it, but it. I'll put it to you this way: I was passively watching it while I was doing something else. All right, and
Like I am right now.
and it completely caught my attention that was not on it, because like I looked over and I was like, oh man, huh, and then I like looked away again, then I looked back again, I'm like, and it just kept drawing me back, and I was like, wait a minute, gotta go back and watch it. I ended up rewatching that 5 kilometers like three times, and I was just like, at the end of it, I was like, oh my God, this is just absolute beauty cycling video. Like, this is just exactly what you want to see on a really long descent. Because it was a really long descent. It reminded me.
Yeah, I mean, like I've been watching it here as we've been talking. I'm down to like 13 kilometers to go, and like they just like seamlessly weave in these cultural sites. Now they're going past the Muiños de Folón, which is like this series of what look like little tiny stone huts that are just like stair stepping down the side of this mountain. I've never seen anything like this before. And what they're so good about, like you were saying, is the choreography of these camera shots where like this shot's going to finish up, and like the moment they finish this shot, boom, the peloton's just going to come right into this thing. You know what I mean? Like they just know exactly where to position that helicopter and what shots to go and grab, go get this, go get that, back to the peloton. And it's just like, you're absolutely right. It's a terrific package.
Yeah, and it just, like I said, I've taken to highlighting these spots in my notes. Like that's how I'm going to do this, because last year it was so hard to go back through and find like drone shots and this. So now I have 2 different color highlighters that I'm highlighting stuff. So that when I go back through my notes, if I see those 2 colors, I know that that's a thing. So I can like, then at the end of the year, I'll be able to pull that stuff out of our notes.
Funny you should mention that, because I conversely was dumping stuff into my, like, because I made us up each a 2026 end of year superlatives page. So I'm trying to get into the habit of just like anytime I'm working on stuff, I just have that particular document up and ready to go. So I can pop stuff in there. So I got a few things that I'm already working on in there, thank goodness. Yeah. So back on subject, we've been talking about stage 5. We can just go ahead and point out the win of Alessandro Pinarello from NSM Pro Cycling, who took the stage win on stage 5. Another, I'm not sure if that was his first win, but he doesn't have a lot. But he had also spent a day in yellow. I think he was in yellow the day before.
But he didn't have it at the podium, but and he ended up getting it after the fact. Do you know?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. They had a strange thing where they had calculated the points incorrectly or something like that.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, Jorgen Nordhagen was in yellow, and it ended up that he shouldn't have actually been. So the next morning, when they went to leave, it was actually Alessandro Pinarello that was in yellow that day.
I believe that was like his second win, second career win. He won the GP Palaio del Resiotto Trofeo CNF Restinatura Blocchi back
Say,
on back on
say
March
that 5 times
2nd
fast.
of 2024. So essentially, definitely the biggest win of his career. So yeah, a lot of these youngsters are on the come up and crushing it. There was another big second win of the season for a young rider this week as well. Did you happen to catch up with the what was it called,
If it
the
wasn't the
the
Brabranza Pale or the Amstel Gold or this race, no, because I did not
the
watch any other cycling this
the
week.
Tour de Jura was
No,
on it was on
did not
HBO
watch it.
Max, won
Didn't see
by
it.
American Matthew Riccatello
Oh,
to get his second win of the year, and that was a 1-2 for a decathlon. That team is just looking so good. Know what I mean?
dude, I said it all last year that this team was going to be all over the place. I told you. I was like, this,
So
the moves that team made were so smart, and it doesn't hurt that they've got the second coming of Pogacar,
mhm.
in Paul Sexas. But I'm telling you, it's the Watts occurring effect. I attribute every bit of it to Luke Rowe. No, I'm just kidding.
Never know. You
Hey,
never know.
could be, could be.
Luke Rowe may have found his true talent in life off the bike, near the bike, instead of on the bike, near the bike. All right. Well, lots of young riders to keep our eyes on as the year moves forward. Enjoyed the heck out of
Did we
Gran Camino.
did we talk about Anders Folldogger?
Oh no, we did. Well, that's the other one. What
That
I
is the other
missed.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
So
that was your men's Brabantse Pale winner from
yes,
Jayco.
yes, from Jayco. He's a Dane. He was fifth overall at the Tour of Wallonie last year. So definitely due for a big win. So good on him. Love that name too, Anders Folldogger.
Yeah, I was enjoying the like long drawn out like sprint up the final climb towards the finish, and Bergado got out in front, the other Alaphilippe, um
The other Alpha.
still sporting the Alaphilippe goatee. Um And it just got me in mind of that win that he got. It was back in, I looked it up. I think it was like back in 2024 in Paris-Nice, like stage two or something like that, where Bergado had a real short, like late breakaway and just held off for the win. And I'll never forget that shot because I like within 10 meters of him crossing the finish line, there were already like six guys past him. You know what I mean? Like he somehow just barely got it. Everybody that was coming up was going faster than him, but he got there first. It was amazing. But he was not able to pull it off. Cosnefroid got third on that stage, and that was his second third. And I think he also got third like a week ago and something. That was a really good pickup once again by UAE, who were just desperate for good riders. Of course, Cosnefroid gets to UAE and suddenly he's just like on fire. That team.
Dude, look, man, that dude's a good rider. All right. He is like always in the mix when he's in a race, man. That guy he's very good. Carson Froy.
For sure. So, all right. Well, we'll put a pin in that and move on to a real quick fantasy update. Not a whole lot going on now. I currently have both of my substitutes in play. We had a little sort of regrouping on our rules, and we've settled upon this. So we each have a 12 rider team comprised of 6 men and 6 women, and we each have one alternate, for the men and one for the women. And so what we have decided on is this: if a rider is out for illness or injury,
Indefinitely. Yeah.
the very next day your alternate is active. So not the same race. Like if I've got Maeva Squeebon and Kim LaCourte gets injured and Squeebon is in that race, she does not score that day. For that day, but starting the next day, Squeebon is active. So that being the case, I have both Tim Merlier and Maeva Squeebon active right now because Isaac Del Toro and Kim LaCourte Pinar are both out. Your squad is complete right now. You don't have either of your subs in, right?
They're complete. They just don't do anything.
Yeah.
Outside of like 3 riders.
So
I have garnered exactly 0 points from Juan Ayuso, exactly 0 points from João Almeida, both guys who had plenty of points by this point last year. So.
True. Has Bredevald gotten you any points this year?
If she has, it's been like a third in a stage or something. It's not.
Yeah. Now Vingegaard and Chabe have both scored for you.
Vingegaard, Chabe, Vollering. Yeah.
You better hope Gigante does something in Grand Tour season. It's like that's a sketchy pick.
It was an outsider, man.
I know. You gotta. I like it. You got to take a chance. Well, yeah. So this week, what did you say? I got 10, or I got 20, and you got 10 or something.
No, you got 12 with a 1-day race win. With Remco, I got 6, and that was it. That was all the points that were scored this week.
So what is it? 12, 8, and 6?
12, 9, 6.
Or 12, 9, 6.
Yep, 12, 9, 6 for first, second.
Yeah. Third. Shout out to Cassia out sprinting Davey to take 3 points out of your pocket for me.
Oh, dude.
I was so surprised to see Cassia win that sprint.
Yeah, well, like 9 times out of 10, that doesn't happen. 9 times out of 10, she doesn't win that sprint.
Shit, 19 times out of 20 with her.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but it is what it is, man. I got the Giro coming, dude. Like I'm just holding my breath for the Giro, man. Just I've got multiple riders in it. Like hopefully we got some stage wins. We got 21 days of racing that we can put points on the board, baby.
Yep.
And no Pogacar.
Yep. All right. So I have one news roundup item. The other two I've already discussed earlier in the show. And then if you have anything, you can squeeze it in. Matteo Jorgensen out of Amstel Gold, collarbone. Matteo is not having a great season. And I am bummed that he will be out for some amount of time. Let's see what his PCS says.
Kevin, he's out for I looked at it this morning. He's out for LBL and for it was minus LBL.
Tour de Suisse on June 17th is the next thing on this program.
So and he's supposed to be in the mix for the Tour de France. Is all goals right now to get him healthy enough to ride the Tour de France? And
I would think so. Yeah, I mean, Swiss would be the warm up, and
if you're Visma, are you second guessing yourselves putting him in for the Tour?
I mean, you make the decision after Swiss.
Yeah, if he rides Swiss, I don't know, man.
I mean, it's only a collarbone. It's not until June. It's not until June 17th. I mean, it's like April. He's got 2 full months. Like that's nothing. He'll 100% be there. But it does suck that he won't be at LBL because he certainly could have featured in that race.
Yes.
So
for sure.
Do you have any other news stuff you want to get in before we move on?
I do want to shout Mom out. Mom hooked up the look at the Fresh Bullets cap.
Nice.
Yeah, right. Dude, I've wanted a Washington Bullets hat for so long, and after they switched from the Wizards, they stopped making all the Bullets gear. Like they just.
I know, but Trump's back in office, so we can do gun stuff again.
Look. If there were
Bullets are back on the table, baby.
I'll take it, man. I've wanted a Washington Bullets hat. By the way,
no, it's actually.
It's got the cap center patch on that side. Can you see?
You got to move the thing to your earpiece to the side. Nice. Did I tell you about the book that my regular customer brought to me?
The Cap Center book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That right there. That's super cool. Um,
Yeah. So thank
yeah.
you, Mom. I
No,
really appreciate
back on
the hat.
well, back on that whole like Trump's in office and now you can do whatever you want. Did you see what's coming back to the what's coming to the Commanders logo?
Oh, are they bringing the old logo back, or is it just like the
No, no,
spear?
no.
Or
The spear. There's now the spear is back on the Commanders logo. It just goes on and on and on. Just ridiculous. Um,
yeah, let's
that
roll
whole
back
thing.
more progress.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's jump into the broom wagon. What have you got for us this week, my man?
So I was looking up a couple of different things with concerns to Amstel Gold. So everybody knows about Matthew Vanderpoel's amazing win in 2019. I think we did an entire episode on it, or maybe it was part of our Vanderpoel episode. I can't remember how that went, but
Yeah.
everybody remembers Vanderpoel winning in the big Dutch race in front of the legions of Dutch fans. But did you know? All right, that Jan Ross, all right, won a record 5 times at Amstel Gold: 77, 78, 79, 80, and 82. All right, leading to the phrase, the Amstel Gold Ross. All right, hold on.
Nice. I'm looking at a picture of this guy right now and I'm like loving this man's look.
All right. Then in 2021, there was a controversial photo finish between one Wout van Aert and Thomas Pidcock like I said, in 2021. I put the picture of the actual photo finish in there, and I mean, I would be like, I don't want to be the one that decides who wins this race. Like, it's too close to call. Look at that thing.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. That is
Wow.
crazy. I remember that now that you mentioned it.
Wout takes the win, but Pidcock gets him back like 3 years later in 2024. I did put a little.
Wait, so Wout has won Amstel Gold?
Yes,
Interesting.
yes. But my favorite little nugget, all right, from Amstel Gold that I got this week is the 2001 War of Attrition. All right. In 2001, torrential rains and freezing winds resulted in only 37 riders of the 190 starters finishing the race, where Eric Decker bested one Lance Elizabeth Armstrong for the win.
Wow, Lance Armstrong's middle name is Elizabeth?
It is now.
Where did you come up with that?
I don't care for him, so
Wow.
putting him on Lance Elizabeth Armstrong.
Interesting.
That
threw me for a
I know
loop.
you have no love for that man.
That threw me for a loop there. Interest. Wait, so give me the numbers again. How many started and how many finished?
190 starters, 37 finished the race.
Wow. Wonder what accounts for that. It was the rain?
It was
Like-
it was torrential rains and freezing winds.
Wow. Wow, that's
It
wild.
was super rainy, super windy. Only 37 riders make it to the end, and Eric Decker bested Lance Armstrong.
Wasn't Armstrong's world championship win like in a crazy rainstorm?
Great question that I don't have an answer to.
I don't know, but I just have to say thank you for mentioning the name Jan Ross, because just looking at the Google image search of this guy, I'm just in love with everything that I'm seeing. It's like the golden age of cycling, and it's great. I love the way guys back then they didn't wear goggles, but like they'd wear glasses. I'm just gonna wear my glasses in a bike race. Like the glasses these people are wearing, I should say, they didn't wear like race glasses like we have now, but they would just be wearing like what appear to be like reading glasses. Just so strange. All right. Thank you for that. I'm going to
He
keep mine.
looks huge, by the way.
Yes.
That guy looks like a monster.
So I was on a bike ride earlier this week and a thought went through my head. I don't know why, but that thought was, has any rider who was currently wearing the King of the Mountains jersey in a stage race won a bunch sprint. Is there a photo that I can look at of a guy in polka dots throwing the bike against 20 sprinters, to win a bike race? And I did not find that photograph. I hate to disappoint you. But then the next thought that occurred to me was, has any rider ever won at the top of an uphill stage while wearing the green jersey? And what does O Gran Camino hand me on stage 5? Alessandro Pinarello winning the stage on an uphill finish in a green jersey. I could not believe it. I was stunned.
So you're telling me you predicted the end of the race earlier in the week?
Don't know. It boggled my mind. And I just thought that was funny that happened. I do want to go and do more research on that. I want to see if in fact, there's a Tour de France stage that was won in a bunch sprint by a guy wearing the King of the Mountains jersey. You might have to just go through stage by stage and just kind of see, look at results, et cetera, et cetera. But I think sort of just in the wake of the whole Paul Sexas Jersey Slam at Basque Country, I just like thinking about stuff like that. It's like, have you ever heard of I think they call it, what do they call it? Score. It's not scoreography. It's there's a whole thing especially in pro football where guys like to follow weird scores in football, because football you can get 1, 2, 3, or 7 points. Those are your 4. So what kind of combinations? And there's a whole thing where guys will be like, oh, there's only ever been, 1 5-2 game, in the history of football or what, stuff like that. Damn, why can't I think of that word? But I feel like following things like this in pro cycling are the same thing, like a jersey slam, when one rider gets all 4 jerseys in a race, like Paul Sexas just did, or let's give a name to a guy winning an uphill stage in the sprinter's jersey. Let's give a name to a guy winning a bunch sprint in the King of the Mountains jersey, because it's fun. And I should point out that Pinarello at O Gran Camino, he won stage 5. He also won both the points and the mountains jersey. Well, how often does that happen? You know what I mean?
Not
unless it's one of those things where a GC winner is just plowing through and gobbling up the other, because of the way that they
there wasn't a lot of sprinting in that race though, too. So that has to be a part of it.
Right. Well, but excuse me, famously, I feel like, hold on. I feel like it's either the Giro or the Vuelta, one of those, every single stage counts towards the green, towards the points jersey. Whereas in the Tour, they're definitely separated out. There's only points on certain stages that are sprint stages. And there's only mountain points on certain stages that are mountain points. So, sometimes it's not going to happen, but in some of these races, as we've seen, as in, Basque Country, Sexas, it's not like he's out there winning every single climb, right, but he's just getting the points because there's no way for him not to win it. So anyways, fun stuff. I'm going to remember what that term is. Score. It's score something.
Scoreology.
That's why I keep wanting to say scoreology, but it's not that, but it's something, and I'll figure it out. So that's going to be all for this week. Join us next week for full coverage of the Tour of the Alps, as well as the 4th and final monument race of the spring season, La Doyenne, the old lady of pro cycling, Liège-Bastogne-Liège. Until then, for my brother Justin, I'm Matt Harper. Thanks for listening. We hope you'll join us again soon for another ride beyond the slipstream. Ale!
Beyond the Slipstream is a part of the Harperama family of podcasts. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Please like and subscribe, smash that button, leave a 5-star review, and most importantly, tell all your friends about us. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time. Allez!